President Biden and Vice President Harris campaigned in Pennsylvania today in an effort to strengthen support for their re-election campaign among a key constituency, African Americans. President and Vice President launched a nationwide black voter outreach initiative while visiting Girard College in Philadelphia. President Biden devoted part of his remarks to criticizing former President Trump's record on race.
It's the same guy who wanted to tear gas you as you peacefully protested George Floyd's murder. The same guy who still calls the Central Park Five guilty, even though they were exonerated. He's that landlord who denies housing applications because of the color of your skin. He's that guy who won't say Black Lives Matter and invokes neo-Nazi Third Reich terms.
After the rally, the president also visited a black-owned small business in the city and spoke with local business leaders. Let's bring in Ed O'Keefe. Ed joins us from Wilmington, Delaware. Ed, always great to see you. Tell us more about this initiative today and what it exposes about a weakness within the re-election campaign.
We should point out, Major, we're in Wilmington, better known as Southern Pennsylvania, because the president is coming here tonight after wrapping up those campaign events in nearby Philadelphia to acknowledge and to mark the death of his son, whose anniversary is tomorrow. But the focus today in Philadelphia is quite an urgent one. While he continues to maintain a big lead among black voters across the country, it has softened, and in some cases by double digits. If you look at current CBS News battleground tracking polling, for example, in Pennsylvania among likely black voters compared to 4 years ago in the exit polls, he's down 10% among them, with former President Donald Trump making gains. Why that matters? Elections in Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, the battlegrounds, are all going to be decided by single digits, by maybe just five figures. Any erosion of support among key constituencies to the Democratic voting coalition, black voters, younger voters, women, Latinos, is a big alarm bell to the president and his team, and a reason why they've got to make sure they're shoring it up. So 8 figures planned in advertising and outreach starting in the coming days. Notable that he had with him at this event today not only the vice president, of course, his top surrogate, but also Maryland Governor Wes Moore, Pennsylvania's lieutenant governor, who's also black, the mayors of places like Kansas City and Baltimore, who will be seen as validators across their cities and states and their regions more broadly. The hope is to have small business owners, big business owners, ministers of all sorts across the country doing what they can to validate the message and making sure that black voters especially understand the importance of reelecting the president. And it was notable, as you just played there, how directly now and how specific he's getting in attacking the former president for things he has done and said that he believes are detrimental to black voters across the country.
Ed, is there something the campaign has pinpointed about this softness in support among African-American voters? Is it lack of appreciation? Is it lack of awareness? Is it lack of enthusiasm?
It's all of that. And it's best described by a woman named Stephanie Brown James, who we spoke with earlier today. She's with a group called the Collective PAC, which is designed to reach black voters. But she held the job of reaching black voters for President Barack Obama's reelection campaign back in 2012. Listen to how she describes the challenge that Mr. Biden now faces.
We have to get out and talk to voters. In 2012, we kept hearing that voters were saying, black voters were saying, we don't know what President Obama has done for us. And I think the same holds true, where we have to get out there and talk about the accomplishments. But part of that is going door to door, talking to voters wherever they are every single day. That ground game is so key this year, just as it was in 2012. And it's going to be critical if the Biden-Harris campaign is going to win this year.
So in essence, her argument is that things haven't necessarily changed that much in terms of reaching this core constituency. They just have to be reminded. They have to be told. They have to be reached with 8-figure spending. But the challenge for the Biden campaign, for the Trump campaign, for any organization trying to reach people these days is the way people are consuming or receiving information has changed. And that's a sort of an existential thing for anybody who's in marketing, advertising, or journalism, for that matter. And so they acknowledge it's going to be a little harder this time. And it's part of why they're trying to rely so much more on those local leaders, municipal, religious, economic leaders, to reach people and do it in a more untraditional way, given that public elected officials certainly these days aren't held in this high regard.
Trying to find voters where they are. Ed O'Keefe in Wilmington, Delaware. Thanks so very much.